Good morning, everyone. Just want to get myself everyone else in the cup. I hope I'm audible. I hope you guys can hear me. Happy Sunday. Today we'll be focused on getting our strength back. Um, I'll be deadlifting today. Today I have a full course because fortunately I'm off work today, so I get to dedicate the whole day to training and show preparations. So it's going to be a long day for me in the gym. I am deadlifting today. After deadlifting, I'll do cardio and then I'm going to go and swim also. And I'm going to do recovery. So I came down to Sandhurst to get my recovery done. Um, yeah, I'm day 22 from 154 days. Uh, so this is what we're doing today. Let me just put it here. I'm going to warm up and then we'll start our conversation. So I'm a big deadlifting fan. I've been since my powerlifting days. It's my favorite movement. I know a lot of people on the internet have an opinion about deadlifts that deadlifts don't have risk to reward ratio is ass because um, it really damages more than it builds. But in my personal opinion, it builds. It's one of the best compounds ever. One of the best compounds. One of the best compound exercises ever. Great for strength. Makes you stronger for all your other lifts. Makes you stronger for all your other lifts, and then great for you. Yeah, so it makes you strong for all your other lifts. And look, uh, it definitely uses more than one muscle, especially if you're doing it right. I mean, you've got to engage your core. You've got to engage your core. Your traps get pulled. Your triceps. You need your hamstrings to stand up. You need legs, or obviously your back, to carry all that weight. So I can't think of an exercise that covers the entire body like that, as opposed to swimming or anything like that. So definitely a movement I enjoy more than anything. But then again, I am a powerlifter. So, but obviously we're preparing for bodybuilding show. But I'm a powerlifter at heart. So you'll always get that side. Always get that side of me. Strength is important, although don't quote me too hard on that because I hate bench. I'm gonna be out there honest with you. Bench is very difficult to be strong in my opinion. There's some people who focus on it and get strong. I don't like being that strong at bench. I'm very protective over my shoulder and my elbows. So um, those can definitely be jeopardized when deadlifting. So I do my best. I do my best not to get caught up in bench movements because thanks for the legs tops. I don't want to get hurt like that. So um, that's definitely a big thing for me. I've injured my shoulder a lot, but gratefully due to peptides like BPC and BPC TB500, I'm able to always heal and recover. I don't want to talk too much about supplements. If you want to know about the right supplements to take for recovery, it is in one of my previous videos. You can either go on YouTube or you can go on my Kick stream and then have a look at that. Um, I'm gonna get into my second warm-up set. I want to go as high as possible. I'll be doing 1 rep maxes today. So obviously I'm gonna be taking quite a lot of breaks because it's just a strength day for me, and I want to be dense. I want to be stronger. I want to have a fuller muscle. So I always incorporate these compounds. So right now I'm just going to be doing reps with this deadlift, but the goal at the end of the day is to get to my 1 rep max again. I'm not as strong as I used to be, which is why I'm doing this now, because I want to change that obviously, and then I'll move on from that. So I will try and keep up with the comments, but for now, let's lift some heavy weight. Let's go. Six. Oh, so I'm still mounting up the weight because it allows me. But very soon we're going to get to that weight where I have to mount from the floor. Definitely leaves you a lot of out of breath deadlift. But I can't think of a better movement. I can't think of a better exercise. It does leave you winded though. Going up 20s again. Like I only go up 20s unless I get close to my 1 rep max. Then obviously I'll reduce. But now, now I'm taking it slow. So interesting week I had. I've been incorporating a lot of training sessions. I've been training twice a day, and just to intensify everything I'm doing. I've been training with some clients because training alone will cost you. Training alone will cost you some motivation where you can't really push yourself. You always end up coming up short. So obviously cherish days like this where I can film more, but obviously when I'm with my clients I don't film that much because I gotta be focused in the session. So if I'm really quiet and haven't posted in a while, just know that that is the reason. Um, but yeah, so that's really what I'm doing, what we're going for. And then very inspiring. But thank you so much, La. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Sla. If you guys ever need to get into a VA, or if you guys ever need gym membership, you can hit him up. Very cool guy. So, um, yeah, obviously I'm not a New Year's New Resolution guy. I like planning. I like planning based on things. So I obviously have been planning for this prep since last year. But I think if there's one thing I've wanted to take upon myself is accountability and being able to stand for what it is I preach. I've taken many years off, relocating, moving jobs, trying to focus on my clients as well as trying to focus on my businesses. So there'll always be an excuse. There will always be an excuse, and you won't win. So right now I'm just trying to get rid of my excuses and work towards being the best. Because if that's not how you feel about what it is you're doing, then you're wasting your time. Eventually you're gonna end up dropping out, and it's so important wanting to be the best, especially for yourself. You know, make a name for yourself. It's so easy for people to want you to attach who you are for them. If you really want to make a name for yourself, you need to focus on yourself. So those are all my goals for this year. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I was having a conversation. Normally, every time people watch my videos, they end up wanting to go either deeper into something, have a conversation about something. And we were talking about my video on my live about mentality. Just um, we're having a debate about mentality of a champion, and also when I said that me versus me is a loser's mentality. So I definitely want to go into a little bit more depth about that because um, it really is um, it really is an important thing to how you think and how your mind works in terms of what it is you're doing for yourself is probably the most important factor of all of it. Now, if you go around believing that someone is better than you, then wherever you go, you'll always reserve that space to admit that someone else is better than you. I mean, as much as cliche as this advice is, it's always going to be the truth. If there's always a space where you're discussing something and you're constantly putting yourself in the position to say, "Oh, I hope so and so is not going to be there," because then everybody's going to be focused on him. You've already lost. You've already lost, and there's absolutely no way you're going to come back from that. Right? No way you're going to come back from it. It's damn near impossible. The moment you defeat yourself before anything else, um, you've done the job for the next person. They don't have to get to the point where they need to mentally defeat you or work on you or beat you or however, because you're already quitting on yourself. And the mentality behind being a success, you guys actually getting in the car, you just see my ass. The mentality of being a success um, comes from that. So you want to be sure that you're dealing with those types of emotions for yourself, and you're not kind of like canceling yourself out. Very important. Let's go for the strong goat. Yeah. Okay. Now start. Yeah. Oh. So mentality behind what you do and everything you do for yourself is crucial. Now, with that being said, when I was talking about um, me versus me in a competitive space being a useless emotion or a loser's mentality, however, is because I don't believe you can get into a competitive space and tell yourself that the only person that you have to compete against is yourself. That's stupid. Very, very stupid. What's the point of all of it? If for 9 months to a year you worked on your whole off season and you worked on all your training only for you to go on stage and compete against yourself, it's rubbish. The judges aren't comparing you to yourself. If you go in bodybuilding, you're going on stage and you're going to be compared to everyone else who came that day. So you're going to get on stage and they're going to compare you. And the moment they start to compare you, what you did for yourself has nothing to do there, right? But how well you worked to defeat everyone else and be perfect package. Yes, there's aspects where you work on yourself. Yes, right? Obviously, when you don't come out number one, or when you come out number one, but it was just by a small margin, the judges are going to approach you and tell you, listen, it was close, but you need to work on your back because your back is a little bit flatter and it's not so apparent. And because of that, um, you may have lost this. But next time, please bring a package where you've improved your back. Everything else was fine, but please improve your back, or please improve your legs. And those are the markers that you need to take home to work on yourself. But in terms of mentality, you get on stage and you need to emanate a presence where you're the best one there. And being a meek giant who's quiet and trying to pretend to be a panther on a tree on stage by going about and just being majestic and just being like nonchalant because you think that your physique speaks for itself is going to get your ass kicked, right? Energy is everything. People will remember your presence. I think that's the one thing that people are overlooking. People will remember your presence, right? I tend not to be able to hear the feedback on this thing, so if you guys can still hear me clearly, or if there's a point where you guys can't hear me clearly, please tell me. So people will remember your presence. People will remember the show that you brought, right? Going back to the other video I was saying, where if you're going to the show and you need your presence to be felt, because at the end of the day, that is an event. And events, they need to sell the show in order for other shows to make sense, right? Good. So now, this is where it gets challenging. Imagine if all 12 competitors who are on stage for your lineup or for your division all don't bring something memorable to the show. Everybody's just there thinking that, mind you, as a bodybuilder, you're standing on stage. If it was just about physiques, it's just a bunch of guys standing on stage naked to each other. What show are you bringing? What aspect to the competition are you coming with that is going to make that show rememberable, right? So you need to be able to create a presence where you're there to dominate. You're there to dominate, and you're there to outclass your competitors and the people up against you. Now, you can take it upon yourself and be like, nah, I'm just there because I'm the lonely giant, or I'm this and that, and blah, 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 blah. I'm the sacred, who's this? And like, you come up with all these things. And you're not going to make it worth the event organizers' time. You're not going to make it worth the supporters' time. You're not going to make it worth the fans. And you're not going to make it worth the federation. And that is why some people lose, even when their physiques were perfect. That is why some people cry foul, even because your presence doesn't speak for you. You need to be able to enter rooms and they're talking about you. They need to be talking about you before you get there, right? And when they don't, just know that they're talking about someone else. And that is going to heavily impact your competition. And I don't understand why people don't understand that. You know? I mean, if this thing is really important to you, you'd study it, you'd focus, you'd actually pay attention to something so important as presence. And what makes you different, what makes you special, right? Now, you're not different, you're not special. You're just the guy who came to compete. You registered. You're an affiliate. You know, you paid your yearly membership. That's what they know you for. That's what you're known for. You know, when they see you, they ask, did you pay for your membership? Like, they don't even know. No one's even excited to see you. I can't wait to see you on stage. Or, you know, we've been highly anticipating. I hope you can back up what it is you said. Nobody's doing that. No one's doing it. And then you still put yourself in a position where you want to be singled out from everyone else. You want to be the champ. You want to be number one, right? And it's ridiculous that you'd have such a high expectation on how you want to be perceived and how you want to be seen. It's insane. It's insane to think that you could get on stage and, you know, be known with your mouth shut. It's weird, bro. It's weird and you're weird, right? So, I mean, it's really about how you feel about that. So, um, you want to take it upon yourself to have presence, have something worth talking about, have something worth conversating about, so that you don't have to put yourself in a position where you cry foul that someone you felt like you beat won instead of you. And it goes back to when people say things like, yeah, the judges were just focusing on this person and this person. Yeah, because he's made it worth everyone's time. He made it worth everybody's time. And that's the things that you guys are getting wrong. That's the things that you guys are getting wrong. You're not making it worth anyone's time, right? Ask yourself this hard ass question. Why do certain boxers get heavyweight championship fights, but some don't, even though you think that, like, you now have to be like a commentator where you start talking about the stats and the specs of someone that nobody's ever heard before, because there's nothing about him that's memorable, right? They're not giving him a headlining show in Dubai because he's not going to sell any tickets, right? But look at someone who isn't a super successful boxer, but now is a successful organizer. Jake Paul isn't the best boxer in the world, but he's got people buying tickets to see him either win or lose. People come up with all sorts of things, but he's successful in it. He's not about to drop boxing anytime soon because that's his treasure trove. He was able to make such a huge success from boxing because he's won the aspect of marketing. He's won the hearts of everybody who's watching, right? Whether it's to hate him or it's to love him, he's a success. Now you want to go and compete and be that guy that everyone has to talk for. You know, you're going out your way to be discussed. No one can discuss it. You don't have a portfolio of yourself. There's no conversation where you are who you're supposed to be or who you are who you say you are. In that moment, you cost yourself everything. So, I mean, you really want to think about that, because don't be a loser. That's what I'm saying. Because you can lose the mental, you can lose on stage 4-5, but you lose the mental fight first, which then makes it ridiculous that you want to be compared to everyone else. Going for another set. Oh, what's this? 140 now. Getting very close to. Oh, 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 oh. So don't be a loser. That's what I'm saying. Don't think about being a loser. You don't behave like a loser. You know, you only got so many opportunities to be number one. And guess what? Every moment could be your last moment, right? Literally every moment could be that final moment as a competitor where you no longer get an opportunity to make a first impression. And then you have to reinvent yourself. You have to start from scratch. You have to be that guy. So you decide who you want to be at the end of the day. But if you don't decide, it'll be decided for you and you'll be a loser. And that's all you'll ever get from doing the things that you do. That's all you'll ever get. You won't have a choice in the matter. You won't get to decide. So it's really up to you. At the end of the day, it's very much up to you. And trust me, you'll regret it in the end. You'll regret it in the end. You know? So take it how you want to. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Or just Work towards being better, bro. Work towards being the best, bro. Don't be another guy who's just there. You know? One second. There we go. Oh, these weights are so freaking thick. This is where I miss the calibrated plates, the Alico, because I'd still have enough room for more weight here. By the looks of it, I've only got room for one more 20. So that's insane. A beautiful day to be lifting all this heavy ass weight. We are up to 40. That's 80. 160, 180. So we're up to 180. This is where it starts getting a little bit heavier. But hopefully by the time this prep ends, I'm going to do my best to get to my original weight around the 250, 260 kg marker. It's free. So that's what mentality for a champion is, right? So now, you want a me against me. No, that's the method. In your own workspace, it's me against me. But in your competitive space, it's me against everyone who's going to be there. And I have to come out the winner. I mean, it's not a hard concept to grasp, right? You get to prepare. You get to be ready, right? That's all on you. Right now, this is all on me. The training, the preparation, everything, this is all on me. But when I'm in peak week, when the show's approaching and people are talking about who's going to be there, who's going to take number one, and you got to ask me, I'm not going to be there on some, we all just want to have a great time. No, I'm there to take heads and leave with the first place position. You can't be meek on stage with other people. You need to feel like a giant so that you can carry yourself like a giant. There's the confidence. When you question yourself, like, I remember when I was teaching people how to pose, right? And we were coming up with their routines. I wasn't even competing at the time. We were coming up with their routines, and they just kept on doubting their steps. And you make mistakes because you're just counting in your head, you're counting, and you're not necessarily grasping the concept. You're not grasping the concept of the movement. You're just stuck. You're stuck and you're just overthinking it. You're just counting, and there's so much doubt in you that you start making mistakes, and you see it. When someone makes a mistake in their face, you see it. They start punishing themselves. You're like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, they close their eyes midway. There's no confidence to say, oh, that happened, but it's still my routine. They can't even catch up to what I did in the first half. So this mistake is not going to cost me, right? People don't think like that. And the moment it's time to behave, and the moment it's time to get on stage and actually do your routine, you start getting scared. There's no confidence. The music is on, and you don't even remember your steps. You're looking down at your feet. You're not looking at the judges. You're not looking at the poses. So, be that as it may, right? If you practice, if you prepare on time, if you count your days, if you literally follow your calendar to the very end, you will do what you need to do. You will make do what you need to make do. And I mean, it's not a difficult concept. This really isn't a difficult concept. But I mean, take it how you want to take it. If you feel like you can make it without having the mentality part and all that other rubbish, by all means. But you're going to lose, and you're going to lose to people like me. You're going to lose to me. You're going to lose to my clients. right? You're just going to lose. You're going to lose to my people. Because if my people are there, you're not going to win. Right? If I'm there, you're not going to win. So if this is how you think about yourself, just trust me that when I get there, you're not going to win. I don't see myself taking any place besides first anymore. I don't pay, I can pay respect, I can pay homage, but I don't pay dues to people that don't work with me, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, Coach Who's this is there. Oh, I hope my people can beat his people. No. The moment I step out, I feel like, yo, how bad will this world-renowned coach feel when my guy takes first place? I hope he's ready to be disappointed. That's how I feel. I hope he's genuinely ready to be disappointed because that's what we came to do. If you guys weren't talking about us enough, you'll talk about us more than enough when we leave. And that's how I feel. That's how I get into every single competitive space around me. I don't give time. I don't take the time to just go around and give someone that space to feel confident about themselves. Oh, I'm gonna try 4 here. I'm gonna try 4. Well, we're not gonna try 4. We're gonna do 4. And we're gonna try to do as many as we possibly can. Okay. Let's go. Lightweight, buddy. 1, 2, 3. Oh fuck. Whew. Yeah. See? I used words like try, and I ended up doing 1 less than I was supposed to. But we're gonna do it again. Probably 2 more times. And just be done with it. Yeah, so that's how deep, that's how much you wanna, that's how much. Thank you for the life, DJ Athletics. Shout out to DJ Athletics. He has one hell of a killer brand. If you guys are in my life, you should go check his brand out. It's been around for countless months and years. Really cool brand, really cool guy. Appreciate it. Appreciate the life, DJ. So, that's the mentality that you need, right? Let's talk about Sean Florida, right? Tiny guy in the world of bodybuilding. Thanks for the love, DJ. No, DJ Athletics. Okay, let me tell you about this guy. We met once, but I don't think you remember. In my first year starting, his clothing brand was making moves. I remember because I once had a brand with my best friend. It was called Lame, which was Love and Money Equals. And his brand was just pushing up there. It's definitely stayed the test of time, right? It's definitely stayed the test of time because not a lot of people with brands survived as long as his has. And I mean, going up against the brands that we've seen, everyone will talk about Deranged, everyone will talk about Panda. He's outlived Panda. Panda was here and gone, and he was still here. And his brand has really just been there. I really loved, he had the old school stripe pants from the Arnold and Ronnie Coleman era. Always wanted to get one of those. So DJ is definitely one of the most solid guys. I appreciate you being on my live. I appreciate you watching. Definitely one of the OGs I want to pay homage to, especially in the country. South Africa has so many big faces in fitness and real people behind fitness that, you know, that's why my platform was created, man. I mean, everybody has the opportunity to put their countries on, and mine doesn't need to be put on, but in terms of talent, we are so talented and we have so much, so many brands and so many athletes here that are world class, but we just don't put ourselves forward. And we should be really performing toe to toe with places like the States and the UK. The UK doesn't even perform that much, but they have billion-dollar companies in fitness in the UK, We need to have billion-dollar companies on fitness in SA. We've got the most talent. I appreciate. We have the most talent. We have the best physiques. Candice does really good shows. You know, I wish everyone supported the NPC shows the way they should, because NPC is the future of bodybuilding in our country. Every other federation is just going to end. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, thanks. It's true. So at the end of the day, you're going to do IFBB, BBSA, not IFBB Pro League. You're going to do IFBB, BBSA, and then what's going to happen? You're going to compete provisional, then you're going to compete national, then you're going to compete in the worlds. If you do 2 or 3 times worlds, you come back and they give you a blazer. They give you a blazer for your pro card, but there's no pro shows for you. So you're going to go back and compete with the same amateurs that you competed to beat for your pro card. Where's the success in that? Where is the success in that federation? IBFS, right? Although I'm not crushing everybody who's trying, because Arnie does a good job at his shows. But once again, you compete in a federation where everybody knows everyone, right? And then it becomes more of a community than it does become a competitive field. If you've ever been to an IBFF show, controversial or not controversial, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you've ever been to an IBFF show, you know that those guys are hardened community, right? They're a community, they're a family. And how much growth can you get from a space where you're competing against your own community, right? They have their pro shows, they've grown. I believe that IBF has even outgrown the IFBB in South Africa, right? They've outgrown IFBB in South Africa. You get what I'm saying? And it's weird, bro, that, you know, you get PCA, it has a minimum amount of shows. Yeah, you probably go abroad once or twice, but where is the legendary status in tiny shows like that, right? Whereas the NPC, you can build a career so big that you can build other people's careers, and people just don't take that to heart. And it pisses me off. I'll be honest with you, it pisses me off, because you're not thinking about your future. You're just thinking about now. You're thinking about it as a hobby. I believe that everybody who goes to these other shows hasn't really sat down with their coach and be like, listen, I want a career in bodybuilding. What do you think we should do? Right? Then your coach, God knows who this coach is at the time, suggests IFBBSA. It means he has some sort of benefit from that federation. He's not thinking about being one of the biggest in the world. Why do you think there's no South African bodybuilder or trainer or athlete with a Gymshark ambassadorship? Why is there no South African with a young LA? I'm not saying that we need to focus on the American brands. I'm saying, why don't they focus on us? Why isn't there a market here to focus on us? Because we're competing in federations that don't make us international athletes, right? What's the point of marketing abroad if nobody local? If all your achievements will be local? And guess what? When you go to an IFBB BBSA international show, the people that go to that show abroad are not more than 50 or 30. So you're going to have 30 people talk about you at a show that no one's talking about at your international show. And then you're going to come back to the country and what? Think that because you went abroad, at the very best, you had a vacation and like a handful of people saw you. You're a tourist. There's nothing that you did at that show that leaves a mark on any international face or any international group, right? So why would you go and back a federation where you can't impact anything? You can't impact anything, and you're just there to be there, right? So look, hate it or love it, do what you want about it, but I'll tell you at the end of the day, I'll tell you this for free. You really need to be able to scope out your career. If fitness is your career, you need to be able to scope out it and decide for yourself. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want to achieve? Right? Because You don't have that many years. And when you finally realize that everything else was a waste, when you finally realize that everything else was a waste, all you're left with is regret. Mountless regret, right? So that's what you want to do. Okay, now back to my conversation about mentality, right? Let's talk about Sean Florida, right? Sean in the bodybuilding world is not the biggest guy, right? He knew he wasn't the biggest guy. He was short, he had to build a physique, and he stood against giants. And then he gave himself a name that made sure that he stood out amongst everyone else. He called himself the Giant Killer. A name like the Giant Killer is just auspicious. It's big. It's daring and it's arrogant. That someone who's small in body, who's small in shape, will go out and call himself a giant killer, which means that that guy is saying that when he gets there, he is already going to kill all of us on stage, despite being smaller, and he's as much as a quiet bodybuilder is, he still takes time to focus on his publicity. He takes time to focus on his fans. He takes time to make a build up and keep people in the loop. I don't understand why all the people who are competing don't have a platform where they can interact with their community, right? There's this one pro NPC bodybuilder here in South Africa. Nobody hears about him the whole year, right? Until he goes out to a show. Mind you, he doesn't even tell people he's going out to the show. You see his name on the registration scorecard. If you follow up bodybuilding, his name pops up on the registration scorecard, and when it pops up, it's like South Africa. Who's South Africa? We have a pro there? Oh my God. Then you look him up and you're like, this guy's been a pro since flipping 2019, 2018, but he doesn't say anything. And guess what? He gets dogged at every show despite having such a beautiful physique because he just doesn't care, right? He doesn't speak anything. He's in Durban, this guy, I think. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't care, bro. He doesn't say anything about anything, and then he goes to a show, loses, and comes back like he just didn't waste close to 150,000 rand on traveling alone and accommodation to get to a show. Is he hoping to be the dog host for his entire career? I don't know. But he just lives with the idea that he needs to be there. He needs to be quiet, and I'm not a huge supporter of that because I feel like he's wasted his career despite being so good, right? So, I mean, ask yourself how much money you're losing. Ask yourself how much money you're losing. Ask yourself how much opportunities you're losing out on. Ask yourself all of that, right? And is it worth it at the end of the day? No, it's not worth it. You're just stuck in a loop. And then you're going to peg it out to doing what you love, which is an ass mentality, if you ask me. So why waste the space for pro competitors if you're not even gonna represent our country in the correct way? Why would you do that? Why would you do that and then just waste everybody's time? Going in for my second set of the 180s. Oh. Okay. Hey. Oh. I'm tired. Oh. I'm exhausted. Didn't carve up enough. Definitely gonna put it there. I'm gonna offload and rack a bit. And yeah, once I'm done racking, then I'm going to do cardio and swim. So I still have a lot to do. So ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I trying to achieve from what it is I'm doing? Am I really out to be the best? Or am I just participating so that people can say I did something? It's crazy, but it's kind of how you have to think about it. kind of how you have to think about it. And people really just don't care. So you end up meeting someone like me who cares. You know, I care. I care a lot because this is my industry, bro. This is my bread and butter. This is how I make a living. This is how I make a living. And if you don't care, then it makes me feel like, you don't respect the way I'm making a living. You need to care, you don't need to care, but I definitely do. I definitely care enough for all of us. So you want to get that right. I'm going to call it for the live, and I'm going to repost this on YouTube if you want to watch the full thing again. I appreciate everybody who stuck around. Shout outs to all the likes I received to this one. If you gave me a follow, I appreciate that as well. Shout out for the follows. And I will see you guys either later or tomorrow.